right, we are going live. Hello, everyone. Hi, we have a couple people in. I know it's been a minute. It has been a month. Okay, so I'm author Elizabeth Ann West. I am CEO and instructor at Future Fiction Academy. I am a published author, over 30 books, and I am an AI researcher. Hopefully the rest of you are too. Hey, Steph. Hey, Stace. Hello. I'm going to call you Deeple. DPL, Deeple. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Kate. Hi, Bio Lady. Hello, hello. Okay, so what the heck happened to me? I went to Vegas. How many people went to 20 books to 50K? Let me know in the chat. I'm definitely keeping up with the chat here today. So I went to Vegas, had a glorious, wonderful time, and then I got the vid. I got the COVID. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. I was in bed for about 10 days straight. And then my asthma said no thank you. I got a secondary infection as well. So that ended up with me on antibiotics and cough medicine and now a daily inhaler, a bunch of, I forgot the two rounds of prednisone, right? So like you do. And I want to talk about this because I've talked about it before in my videos about my health. I'm not the only one who's a writer who has very serious health concerns. And there's been multiple times that I have had people literally be dismissive of this issue of mine. Like, yeah, well, if you talk about AI for people with disabilities or health challenges or whatever, you're cheapening it for them. They don't need blah, blah, blah. Listen, okay, that's a prideful position. I don't have pride about the fact that I get sick. And when I get sick, I often lose a month to a month and a half of my life. And I want people who don't have to deal with that. I want you to just think about how your life, how your career, how your profession, how your financial stability, how that might change if you also had a situation where multiple times a year you just lose a month and a half of your life. Or maybe you don't have an illness that does like mine, thankfully, like a good thing. I get to compartmentalize it. Like I might lose November, but I'm fine in December. Well, okay, I missed the first week of December, but I'm fine in like December and January. I am lucky that my challenges, my health challenges are sporadic. They are not every single day. But there are people who are in our profession, who I love dearly, who have chronic pain every single day. And that means they're not losing a month and a half of their life. No, it's much more serious than that. They could be losing as much as half of the working hours that they have in a workday. So, sorry to pontificate about that, but I think it's a big deal. And it's going to be a big deal for what I have to share today. So, okay, last night, Steph Pajonas and I love Steph Pajonas. I always think expecto patronum. Expecto Patronum. That's what it is. So last night we got to play inside of Zoom for about 2 hours. Hey, Leland. Hey, Kate. Hey, Harper. And Becca. We got to play for 2 hours and I did a thing. How many of you have been writing prompts to make the LLM write for you? How many of you are doing it? Writing the prompts, typing them out? Yeah? What if I said you don't have to? You don't have to anymore. I know, right? Like we did this last night and we were like, oh, we need to go lay down. So I'm going to show a new methodology today. It's hot off the presses. It's about, well, it's more than 12 hours old because we started at 7:30 last night. But Leland's like, no way. Stacy's got her head exploding and everything like that. But so this is exciting. So this is going to build on a couple of things and I'll talk us through it as we go through it. But just like we do all the times, your link to your Notion page that you need is down in the description. I'll start sharing my screen in just a second. But our methodology here is going to be using Rexy, okay? I also have an announcement about that too. We have lowered our price because we have changed how we're doing our development strategy. We have some really cool, exciting things in the new year coming. So Rexy and Lab is now $159 a month. And you don't need to freak out. You don't need to be like, oh my gosh, I better grab it before. Like we're going to stick to that price for a while. So if you are on the fence about joining Future Fiction Academy, for $159, you get 8 labs a week. It's like 40, it's less than $40 a week for the AI education. On top of that, you're going to get Rexy, the tool I'm about to show you right now. People, I wrote 14,000 words in an hour and a half last night, and I didn't have to do the work. In the sense of I got a really good rough draft. And I'm not just talking a rough draft like our old rough drafts. When you see this, you're going to be stunned. Okay. You're going to be stunned. And this is what I think the future is. How many of you saw the announcement? It was shared in our Discord that Macmillan, one of the big 5 publishers, has hired a head of global AI for their company. Why? Why do they need a head of global AI? I literally just shared a book. I'm not going to say which book it is, with Steph just a few minutes ago this morning. I looked at the look inside. I'm almost positive it's AI. I mean, reading it, it was just nothing but an info dump of this character, this, and this character, that. That I would be willing to bet $1,000 that that first intro, the sample, was written by artificial intelligence without any edits. I mean, with very minimal edits. How many of you have been looking at the look insides of books in the top 100 and noticing that it looks like it's written by AI? You can just tell. You just recognize the cadence of the writing. And if you haven't, take a look. I will say that the book I looked at was not a Macmillan book. It was actually a Penguin Random House. Oh, hey, Jorge. Hey, Jude. Jorge said he read the experiment already. All right. We are 8 minutes in. Let's get sharing and let's get going. Okay. So let me share my stage, add to the stage. Ta-da! There's our cutesy little dinosaur that we love so much. But I will be sharing more information, more other tabs for that. So let me hop over into that world and let me go ahead and zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see it a little bit better. How is that? Let me know if you can read it, if the wording and stuff reads very well. Everybody good? And people can follow along today if you have your own Rexy. By the way, I need y'all's help in the chat. Please fill in. We are going to write a 10-scene short story, short novella. Okay, we're going to end up with probably about 10 to 15,000 words. I need y'all to tell me what genre you want in the chat right now. I'm going to try to not do romance. The reason being is because I'm going to make sure that we cover romance and stuff in labs and things like that. And nothing wrong with romance, but I do a lot of romance demos. Let's see. It is Rexy Claus. I'm happy to do like a twist on. We could do a Hallmark. We could do a cozy mystery. We could do whatever genre you want. Just pop it in the chat. You know how this works. Put your votes in. Phone lines are open. And your favorite American Idol will win. No, your favorite premise will win. So let me go ahead and hop over to Rexy Claus Prep so that you can see that you have a project superstructure. And then I also gave you a link to a YouTube video called OpenAI LLM Optimization from Dev Day. I was in Vegas when Dev Day happened. I was literally sitting in my hotel room, my bed, like watching Sam Altman's announcement of GPT-4, and then I had to present on it the next day. Like I altered my slides and made sure that I could present on it, which, by the way, those are also now all on YouTube. I will get the link into this Notion structure. You can see all of the presentations I did in Vegas for free on YouTube right now. I was on a panel about AI the boogeyman or not. I also did Math is Money for Authors with an update and also some AI cool stuff in there. And then the other class I did was collaborating with AI writing. And we did Amish science fiction, y'all. Amish science fiction space opera. So there was a wooden ark and force field beards and laser pitchforks. I drew the line at nuclear milkmaids, but it was a lot of fun. I want to talk about this Dev Day thing for just a little bit, just for a second here, while you guys are all telling me what in the chat, what genres you want. So I have it open right here. And the reason I have it open is so that you guys can kind of see this, this graphic. Are you guys able to see pretty well this square box right here? I know it's kind of like dim. They lit it up in their presentation and stuff because I just want to talk about this for just a second. Let me hop over to live streaming and see where everybody is. Christmas murder mystery, Hallmark Christmas space opera, romantic suspense, Christmas murder mystery, Christmas. I changed my vote to any of the Christmas ones. Christmas cyberpunk. Bax is yes. Words no. I'm not sure what that is, Leland, but okay. Alternative history. Okay, well, I think something Christmas is gonna win. and then something about uh romantic, cozy zombie celebrity bounty hunt. Wait, what? Okay, my brain is kind of melting at that, but that's cool. All right, so let me hop back over here to what I was talking about. Okay. Pardon me, as this is going to be a little bit of a soapbox for just a second here. But this is important. This is really, really important. So if you give me about 2 or 3 minutes, I'm going to talk about this. It'll save you from watching the 45 minutes, but it's worth watching the 45 minutes. So this lower box right here is prompt engineering. That's what it says. And basically, OpenAI is saying that most of us, everybody who's working with their product, starts off with prompt engineering, that you learn how to engineer the prompts. You learn how to say, avoid foreshadowing. Why do we not say no foreshadowing? Because no is a token number and no can have ambiguous meaning to it. So we want to use words that are very specific and ideally only have one meaning, because the robot can get confused by words in your prompting that have more than one meaning. So we start off with prompt engineering and we get those prompts really, really good. Now, this top box, this purple box is RAG, RAG, which stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. It's like YouTube wanted to help me out right over here. And you'll see that this video from IBM Technology, does everyone see how it's 3 months ago? The RAG technology actually came out. The games that we have that we're playing with today actually came out in the springtime. They came out in about May, June area of the current games. It doesn't mean that's when it was invented. Just like the current state of it is really the gains and stuff were found out right before the summer started. And what RAG allows the LLM to do is process large documents, extract the information, and then do something with it. So if you are seeing new AI tools and stuff come on the market right now, they are using RAG, fantastic, by the way, to give you a story Bible or a codex or some ability to now read a bunch of information and bring it into the prompt and use that into the prompt. But there's a problem with that. Okay. And if you watch this video, they'll even talk about this. It's not actually accurate. It can, with RAG, their results and stuff, they can only get to about 60 to 80% accuracy. Now, I want you to think about this for just a second. If you have a 100,000 word novel, oh my gosh, how long have I been muted? Oh no. Oh, I hit my microphone and it went dead. Okay, got it. Thank you. Where was I when I was talking? What part did you guys hear? Because I could pick up from there. Um, oh, perfect. If you have a 100K word novel, you may find a tool, Claude 2.0, the new 128K. Well, actually, that's a little bit too many words. But anyway, if you have an AI tool that's saying, hey, go ahead and bring us your 100K novel, and you do that, and you're like, I don't care about how much this costs because I'm a busy author. This is cheaper than hiring an assistant. So it doesn't matter to me if it's 30 cents or $3 every time I click the button. I'm paying it because I need to get this work done. The problem is the accuracy. The accuracy of the RAG on its own can only get to about 60 to 80%. And they actually did a whole presentation later on where they actually showed the graphs like right around. Let's see if I can get to the graphs. No, I don't want to actually play it. Oh no. All right, we'll just mute it and then we'll skip the ad. Anyway, the point is that the big researchers that are saying that they can only get 60 to 80% accuracy. And I want to ask you guys um, right here. So here's where they had 65% accuracy with RAG and some different new retrieval methods. They actually didn't get to 98% unless they had prompt engineering on also fine tuning. That was the real magic story that they talked about. That once you bring in some fine tuning, and we'll talk about that in just a second here over on this other. There we go. Once you bring in fine tuning on the right hand side, you actually get to this top box, which is all of the above. This was a very long message to say that that is where the Feature Fiction Academy is going. We've already mastered RAG since we've had access to Claude 2 at the beginning of the summer, which is how these larger models work. Okay. They work because they're using RAG on those big long prompts that you've been doing. That's why sometimes your long prompts, have you guys noticed that sometimes it just completely forgets something that's in that long prompt? And we kind of explained like it doesn't really have long memory and things like that. Let me check the chat to see if people are following this a little bit. RAG inaccurate. Yes. Anthropic laughed at me when I tried to force Claude RAG to scan my 500,000 world trilogy in one pass. Good to know, Leland. So the point is that uh, 100K Claude, 128K GPT-4, 200K Claude, and whatever else 100K thing that comes down the pipeline that says it can do it. It's not the way you think it does. It can do about 60 to 80% of embedding the information, extracting some information. You don't have really good control over what it chooses to extract and what it chooses not to. A fine tune, on the other hand, how many of you guys have heard about the data set book corpus that everyone was all up in arms about their books being put into book corpus? Raise your hand or put it in the chat. Okay. I am convinced nobody looked at that data set. Everybody just got mad, but nobody went and looked at that data set because I looked at that data set. I was sick, y'all. I had priorities. I have to go down the prioritization list. I finally took a look at some of the data sets that are on Hugging Face chat for writing fiction, and I encourage you all to do so as well. They're trifling. They're pathetic. They are the worst data sets I would ever think of to create to write fiction. Let me tell you how bad they are, okay? And how bad are they? Would you ever teach an LLM to write a book like you by giving it random pieces of your sentence? Not full sentences, mind you, just random pieces of sentences. Like, she hurried up the stairs, comma, and looked at him, period. Ow, heavy, period, he said. 740,000 strings of text, just random clauses, random 5 to 10 words put together in a box. That is what was fed to the LLM as this book corpus data set. There was never a case where the LLMs are reading novels, whole novels, with full context in sequence. That didn't happen. It still doesn't happen to this day. As a matter of fact, we just now recently got the ability to even train these LLMs on multi-lined entries. Now, if you're going, what the heck is a multi-lined entry? Paragraph, y'all. Previously, all of these LLMs, up until earlier this year, sometime around the summertime, when GPT finally said, hey, we're going to open up training, fine-tuning and stuff on our GPT 3.5. Prior to that, these training models, everything had to be a single line of data, a single string of text. They were very small. That increased earlier this year so that now you can finally do multiple lines. But what you can't really train on, you still cannot train on, like a page. So this is why RAG and fine tuning are actually opposites of each other. A fine tune is teeny, teeny, tiny pieces of information. And it's like a game of Jeopardy, where the way you train it is you have an output that you want and you give an example of a prompt and you give it as up to 10 examples. Hundreds work better. Used to be we needed thousands, but now we can do it with just a couple. You take that spreadsheet, you put it into JSON formatting, and then you upload it into OpenAI and you can train your own 3.5 GPT. This is a project that we're doing in the FFA in January. Well, December and January. So that's kind of the latest and the greatest. So let me check the chat and see if anyone's still here, and we'll make a decision on what we're going to write. Okay, so 1 billion tokens. You can get a great story out of LLM just as long as you don't want it to be the way you write. Melodramatic, it's sensationalist, but lots of people like that. I hate it, but hey, that's me. I hear you, Kate. And hopefully we'll show you with fine tuning and stuff that you don't necessarily have to let it be melodramatic. You can actually get it to write like you do. All right. So without further ado, let's hop into writing. I think we're doing something on Christmas. I think we did that. Christmas murder mystery might be tough to do in a 10 scene thing. Let's do, you know what? Let's make the AI come up with something. So I have a gift, Rexy Claus. So Rexy Claus came not just with the gift of a discount, that is now only $159, but in my chat GPT, I'm going to give you guys a link here. Let's see here. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, no, I don't want to delete it. No, no, no. What is this 7? I don't know what that means, but that's kind of cool. I want to copy the link. I'm going to throw it into chat so you guys have this. And I'm also going to go ahead and put it into the this as well. So, like I said, I was sick for a month and a half. Chat GPT, what are these called? GPTs, okay. Which is kind of hilarious. Can we stop using GPT for everything? Chat GPT, now these are our GPTs, GPT 3.5. I get that, it stands for the whatever transformer, but we need some new words, y'all, because it gets confusing when you try to talk to somebody. So this is a GPT for Chat GPT 4. Free to use. Anyone can build these, but I specifically built a Future Fiction Academy scene writer. And we're going to use it real fast just to get an example. So I'm going to say, give me 5 novella ideas that will work for 10 scenes involving Christmas and any popular genre of story. So give me 5 novella ideas that will work for 10 scenes involving Christmas and any popular genre of stories. So we have a cozy mystery. We have a mistletoe mysteries. We have the Christmas experiment. It's Christmas Eve 2045 and a brilliant but reclusive scientist unveils a groundbreaking machine. The other one was a quaint town of Evergreen. Amateur sleuth and local baker Clara decides to investigate. Each scene unfolds a new clue, leading to a heartwarming revelation about community and the true spirit of Christmas. Now that's a hallmark, all right. Holiday heartstrings. We've got a romance. 2 high school sweethearts. Ghosts of Christmas, a time travel tale. Now, I did not think about time travel. That's a good idea. Antique shopper owner's magical ornament that transports her to Christmases of different eras. So it's basically like a twist off of Scrooge, off of, Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, Future. Operation Santa. Okay, I don't think we need that. All right, my vote is between... I kind of want to do this time travel tale just because I want to show the LLM has to write the scenes in different time periods. That would be kind of epic. The sci-fi one is kind of interesting too with the weather. And then I also like the cozy mystery. So your vote is 1, 2, or 4. Those are the options, 1, 2, and 4. So if you want to put it in the chat, which ones you want. I really want to do the time travel one because I think that would be really cool. That would be one that I would probably finish up and publish. Creativity. Time travel. So we got 2 votes for time travel. 3 votes, 4 votes. There is only 25 of y'all, so you got time to vote. We will keep the phone lines open. Meanwhile, I will go ahead and start getting set up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is we will come over into Rexy and I will show you guys what we're going. We're actually going to make it. We're going to get the information here to populate our superstructure here. Now I want to stress today's experiment is look, ma, no hands. That's the point. I mean, actually, I'm using my hands, but that kind of sentiment. I'm going to make the LLM write the words, and I'm also going to make it edit the words and rewrite the words. And I'm also going to make the LLM write all the prompting for me. That's what we're going to do. I know. So we're right on time. And the goal here is to try to get 15,000 words in 1 hour. So I started the clock here at 12:55. So 12:55 my time. Let's see where we are at 1:55. And y'all are free to ask questions. 1:55 p.m., which means we'll be a little bit later. Now, why do I want to do 15,000 words in an hour? Because I don't know of any other AI tool out there that's letting creatives actually write 15,000 good words in an hour. Do you? I mean, you can click the button, click the button, click the button, click the button, click the button. But has anyone else been able to get 15,000 decent words in an hour? All right. So the time, it's going to be the time travel one. So that's the winner. So we are going to get to it. And I will narrate what I'm doing as I do it. So I'm going to do my favorite thing. Y'all know what it is. Great. Why do we say great? We always say great because we want to signal to the LLM if it did something correctly. If it didn't do something correctly, we want to say, oh, that's not quite right. I need you to do this. Why? Because it was trained to be conversational. It was trained to get the pat on the back if it does something that the human likes. And if you lean into that, then you're going to get better results. So great. Please take idea 4, Ghosts of Christmas. Add in conflict, character names, and let's not do 3. Let's do just 2. 2 distinct time travel scenes. And flesh out the idea into a full hook and pitch. So that way I get the full hook and pitch, which is, the summary and all of that. I wasn't doing this last night. Ooh, I like the name, Evelyn Hartley. Perfect. Antique shop owner, ancient Christmas ornament. It can transport her. When the ornament's magic starts to weaken, Evelyn must find a way to return to her own time before she's trapped in the past forever. Love this. So Christmas ornament shop. She finds herself in Victorian London. I love that. She meets Charles Dickens struggling with writer's block. I'm here for this. This is a great story. 1944, World War II, and she's in a small American town meeting James and Lily, a young couple separated by the war. With James deployed and Lily volunteering at home, Evelyn helps them find ways to share Christmas together. Wait, what? There's no technology there for that. She uncovers the ornament's history. A sorcerer. Christmas traditions. Let's make the story clearer and less vague. Just spell it out. Clear beginning, middle, and end. So I want to get rid of Ghosts of Christmas, A Journey Through Time. I'm also going to ask it to not do anything with Dickens. That kind of doesn't, maybe. That's kind of funny. She made James a soldier on leave. Okay, that works. Small but meaningful celebration. Back to her own shop. Okay. Meaningful Christmas. Okay. Let's go back to the top here and seeing it as overly commercialized. So how about she plans on we're going to make one little tweak to where she's planning on not even celebrating. Does that sound good? So I think that this is good. And I'm going to say now, great. Now write that out into a detailed 10 scene outline with and add to the top, to the beginning, that Evelyn is planning on skipping Christmas this year, right? That's the to get ahead on the end of the year inventory. So let me check the chat and see where we're at here. Okay. We also want the AI to like us just in case it takes over. It doesn't hurt. I agree with you, Jorge. So now it's running that, and I think that we're going to be good here. So detailed 10 scene outline. Setting is the antique shop, modern day Boston. Same as scene 1 later in the evening. Now she's going to be in Victorian London. Then she talks to Charles Dickens, inspiration for a Christmas Carol. Now that's interesting because Dickens was famous. Scene 5, Dickens was famous for taking walks all throughout London, anywhere he wanted to go. Evelyn's shop transitioned to a small American town in 1944. I like that. Community center in the American town. That's good. The same town library. She discovers the history of the ornament and realizes the magic is fading. She's going to embrace it. Okay, perfect. Great. Rewrite it, removing removing all bullet points. only use new lines and encase each scene in the following tags. Scene 1, synopsis, and then we'll do this for each scene. I'm just getting it into the format that I need to make it a lot faster. I mean, I could do it myself, but why? Look, Mom, no hands. And GPT, again, $20 a month. This is unlimited. Well, it's not quite unlimited. I do get like restrictions on how many messages. If you do like thousands of messages in an hour, I don't even know how you do that. Hundreds of messages in an hour, it's going to flag it. But does everyone see how it's putting it in Tupperware containers? Yeah, I likes it. I likes it a lot. So, so it's going to do these 10 scenes. Let me see where we are. I'm so excited, y'all. You don't even know. This is going to be a fun little story. And I think I've got the lab on Monday, so maybe I'll edit this over the weekend and we'll publish it. Okay, so I'm going to copy. I'm just copying the scene 1. Let me go ahead and clear my jump cut. So I'm going to copy the scene 1. And the other thing that I'm going to copy is the overall information about the story, this stuff. Okay, and we're going to come over to Rexy. Not Rexy. We're going to come over to my superstructure. So this is going to be Rexy clause. And I'm going to go to my auto write page. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a page, and it's going to be my Notions 21, one of my Notions 21. So actually, I like to kind of note this, and then we're going to call this pre-writing Notion 21. Stick with me. And we'll add a new page here. And we're going to call this story information. Y'all know story information. We'll need that as a tag. Okay, so I lied. There's a little bit of, and then I will paste in this, the information. So there's the title and there's the ending. And I'm just going to add in here. She discovers devoid of meaning. She plans to skip Christmas and do work. Okay, so there we go. There's our story information. Now we need another piece of information here, and we're going to need page, and this is going to be our scene outlines. Actually, we'll call them synopsis, since that way I'll know the term. And then coming over to my Notions 21, I'm going to copy these over into Rexy. So I'm going to bring it into my Notion slots so it's there. Boop. Verify that page. And I need to load a project. So let me go ahead and load the project that is. It's not here because I named it, but I hadn't put it in here. So I just have to clear my cache so that way I can load a new series, and it's the YouTube Live. And I'll click Load Project. Now, there's been a change to Rexy since the last time I was live. You now can have multiple blackjacks, and that's what we're going to use today. So this is the standard, the default blackjack. What I have available for everybody is, well, let me do it this way. Let me come over here because I want to give you guys, if you went to the lab at the beginning of December about this, you already have this, this template. But there is a template that was created by one of our members, Susan. Fantastic woman. I'm really grateful that she did this. So this is the blank template that I'm going to be using. I'm going to click on it so that you guys can see it. This is, she went ahead and formatted the new blackjack so all of the bangs are defined. On top of that, she gave you a bang view, which this, if you scroll across, you can see exactly which boxes are going to go in each bang, just like the instas. So these are like Insta 10 and all of that. My favorite view is the board view because this actually shows what the prompt is. So let me show you how I'm going to do this. So you have this link, the blank template. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the blank template so you guys all have it. And I'm just going to drag it into my YouTube Rexy clause. So you guys have a link to this page and you can access this. When you open this, there will be a button up here and the share that you can duplicate it to your own Notion, and you should duplicate a blank copy and then duplicate it again. I'll take out the 2 because we don't need that. Now, I don't want to change the template on y'all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate it one more time. We're actually going to duplicate it a bunch of times. And I'm going to go 21 blackjack, and we're going to call this scene writing first pass. We'll get there, don't worry. And if I want my Rexy to be able to see this blackjack, I have to grab it, take it above the line, don't leave it there, and move it actually over into the first column. What also is important, I'm going to move that one out. What also is important is that these do not have to say blackjack. As long as the number 21 is in the front, Rexy is able to read that database for you. So it has to say 21 in the front. Just have to have a 21, and then it can say anything after it that you want. You have to move it into the first column. Let me know if there's any questions about this new technology. Hey, Ikello. Oh my gosh, Ikello, you're going to love this. So, so now we're going to get the AI to write the prompts for us. This is the part where you hold onto your butt. So I need to write the prompting for that, and it's actually not complicated prompting. I'm going to go steal it from the werewolf section because I was working on this last night. So this is the werewolves, and it's like you're going to write this. We'll format that one, but this one, it's going to be. You know what? This would be faster, Elizabeth. I don't want to have to rewrite all that stuff. So let me do this. Let me duplicate that. So we're duplicating this, and I'm going to throw it into, I'm going to put it into my FFA page. You don't have access to that, but you can use this on your own because this is your page that has all of your stuff. And then I'm going to grab werewolves and I'm going to drag it into the project that I'm working in. So Rexy Claws, there's werewolves. I'm going to bring it up here. And I'm going to actually rename this so it's not called werewolves anymore. And this will be the scene writing one. And now all I have to do is change my big bangs. So we'll go to board view. Basically, I'm taking a blackjack I already know works, and I'm going to duplicate it. You guys have this ability as well. If I share it, it's published. You can go into this Rexy clause and you can grab this 21 scene writing and make changes for yourself as well. So what I'm going to do, I have to edit this BB, the main box for right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, we are not writing a contemporary. We are writing a Christmas time travel short story in, let's go first person point of view. I don't usually do that, so let's do that. And then I'm going to say story, please read N1, N2. Okay. Hold tight. We're going to delete all that out. So right now it's just going to load the N1 and the N2. The reason for that is because my N1 and N2 in Rexy right now is literally story information and scene synopses. And I don't have to worry about my brackets or anything like that, because if I come over to my Notion slots, I put everything in Tupperware containers. This is why I put my Tupperware containers in my Notion pages. That way I don't have to worry if I just bring the Notion slots, because when I get fast, I can sometimes forget my Tupperware containers. So we just have the story information. And by the way, for those who just joined, there is a link in the description of this YouTube video that takes you to this Rexy Clause prep page. You can access right here, this YouTube live. This is the superstructure. When you click on that, that's going to take you to this page right here. You have access to the blank template for the blackjacks and also the blank jack, the ones that I'm using right now. I'm going to actually take that one down because we're not working on that. So the scene writing. So to load a blackjack, okay, because it's on my page, I come over to my project tab and I'm going to, you'll see it just says 21 blackjack. It's got the old one. All you have to do is clear your cache. When you clear your cache, it'll update the list of blackjacks. Now I have 21 scene writing. Now I click load the blackjack and I have the green letters. Anyone watching this and going, oh, this is so much work. No, it's control. Okay. We talked about the rag at the top of the hour. New AI tools and stuff, they're doing all of this on the back end for you, but they're making choices about what information gets passed, how the prompting is done, and you don't have control over that. That's silly. New models drop literally every week. We, the creatives, need full control over how we're prompting. Now, there's nothing wrong if you want to use a tool that infantilizes you and, gives you prompting. But I think after a month or two of using them, you're going to find yourself frustrated because you get better at your prompting, but the tool doesn't get better at its coding on the back end. So how many of you have worked with an AI tool that promises to have the prompts for you? You can just click a button and it'll write you hundreds of words, and you find it's not giving you your result that you want. Either because you're like, the character's eyes are blue, and you're like, my character information says the eyes are green. It's not your fault. It's because all of the information got parsed over, and it's possible when you click that button for that prompt, whatever coding they have on the back end might not have brought over eye color. It might have brought over information about the character, and when the LLM didn't have that eye color information, guess what? It hallucinated it. So if this looks crazy, it's not. Once you start doing it a little bit and practicing with it, you're like, why would I ever give up control again? So I'm actually going to click auto log. And so what we've done so far is we've made the LLM make our information for us. So we have an outline and we have synopsis for each scene. The next step that I'm about to do is I'm going to make it write me prompting for each scene. This is what you've been waiting for. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and come to my Elements tab where my B slots are and make sure that they're all in here, which they are. So I'm going to go ahead and click, let me go to Word Banger, and I'm just going to go bang them. So let's go ahead to Elements, and we will go B slots and we'll go bang them. Now, with just one click, you scroll up here, close that out. With one click, all of my, you're going to write scene 7 according to the prompt. You'll see the prompt. And so that it seamlessly connects as a story to previous scenes, label it scene 7. You'll notice I don't say what scene 7 is. I don't have prompts yet. We're about to have that in just a second because it's going to have this information here. So for Insta 1, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change this prompting real fast. Just scene 1. It's okay because I'm only going to run one bang. And let me go grab the prompting that I had from werewolves because it worked. And watch it not work now. I think it will. Please write a detailed prompt for each scene, tagging it as scene 1 prompt for each scene up to 10. Each prompt should be a clear instruction for plot, characters, and writing styles. So we're going to grab that prompt and I will also put it on the Rexy button so that you have this. We'll put it right here. Prompt to get prompts. This is so funny. And obviously we're going to change this contemporary time travel. Christmas novella with fun writing and dialogue. Each scene should be at least 3,000 words. The entire story is in first person point of view from Evelyn's point of view. Everybody cool with that? So we'll see if it can do the first person point of view. So now I'm going to grab this. Boop. Bring it into Rexy. And we are writing a Christmas time travel short story in first person point of view. Please read, this is all the story information that's in my Notion pages. And then I'm going to put a little dinkus right here. My little dinkus, and I'm going to paste in that prompt. Now, Everybody following so far? This is the prompt to get the prompts. I need to pick a model. I have a couple of options. I could use Claude. Okay. Claude 2.1 can do this. I can also use GPT. I'm probably going to go ahead and use GPT-4, the new Turbo one. You also could use just GPT because it's cheaper. You also could just use GPT-4. So I'm going to go ahead and use GPT-4 Turbo. That's the 1106 preview. The temperature, let's go ahead and bring it down to 0.8 because I'd like for it to follow my instructions. Everything is fine. Maximum length can be 4096 for what it outputs, and I click update. Let me check the chat before I click the button to make sure there's no questions. When did we do a werewolf book? We did it last night, Ashling, and yes, you were inspiration. Check the experiments tab. Yeah, it is the experiment. Go look at it. Go look at the text that it wrote. Okay, so now we're going to get it to write the prompts for us. So here we go. We're just going to do one repeat because we're only doing one prompt, and we're going to start banging at one. So let's bang. So this is going to read the story information, and it's going to write the prompt. Look at this, y'all. Begin with Evelyn Hartley's internal monologue reflecting on her disillusionment with current commercialized state of Christmas, contrasting her childhood memories of the magic and wonder. Use descriptive language. Introduce Evelyn as a dedicated and somewhat worn-down shop owner dealing with stress. Include interactions with customers who are caught up in the holiday shopping frenzy. It wrote the prompt, okay? It wrote the prompt. We didn't have to write the prompt. Now there's the scene 2 prompt. So it's just going to go ahead and do all of that. So we'll let it write the prompts. And I'm going to go check the chat. Well, yeah, it's no little prompt, is it? I mean, it can just write prompts. This is a huge, I mean, I'm sure other people have been doing this too, but I just started doing this last night. I mean, I've that's not true. A couple of weeks ago, I've been having the AI, write prompts and stuff like that. I think it's finally able to write prompts, and we should leverage this because it's a whole heck of a lot easier to add to and fix and tweak than it is to start from scratch. And this also gives you insight. Transition next time travel episode with a touch of the ornament. Portray her arrival. Use contrasting imagery to depict the difference between Victorian London and mid 20th century America. Let Evelyn first experience the sounds of wartime radio broadcasts, holiday music mingling with the news of the front lines. I mean, I like this. And this lets you be like a creative director. I see that scene. I'm seeing the banners and kind of like people walking on the roads that are barely paved. Like they stop being paved a little bit when you turn off to get to different farms and things because like the little town's just the little town area. So it's done. Now we need to play with this. So now the organization comes in. So if I come to my auto write, here is all of the scene prompts. Boop, 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 boop. I need these in my auto write. So I'm now going to go ahead. I don't want to lose the timestamps because I like them. So I'm going to take this off and I'm just going to go scene prompts. Guess what? You just drop that into Notion. This is my pre-writing Notion 21, y'all. And now I'm going to come over to my Rexy, and I need to update my Notion slots. So the way I do that is I come into Elements, go to N slots and the Notion slot editor. You guys will notice I only have N1 and N2. I need N3. So if I just click verify, it will pop that N3 right in there. Now, next step, one little tweak. I need to come over to my word banger, which is in here. Not my word banger, my Blackjack 21. This is the scene writing one, so we can talk about this. What do I add right here? N3, y'all. N3. So now the prompts are there. I'm also going to put a little dinkus there, and I'm going to say the start of scenes. Now, we're going to have a chat while this was working because it's going to work. So I have all that information. Please read N1, N2, N3. I want to point this out that this is in my Big Bang box. Why is it in my Big Bang box? Because it means it gets parsed every single time in the prompt, but it doesn't get repeated every single, it will get repeated, but it allows it to have the mega prompt every single time sandwiched into the word banger. So read below, particularly knowing you will write scene 1. Write scene 1 according to the prompt. label it scene 1. Write scene 2. So I'm actually going to tweak this a little bit because I want it to say draft. So let me grab this, open it. I'm going to say label it scene 1 draft. Let's go ahead and do brackets like this. I'm going to grab that information right there, and I just got to tweak these other ones. So read below, label it scene. Okay, so I've got to copy. I'm fixing all of it. Does everyone understand why I'm putting it in brackets to label it scene 2? Like asking it to label them as drafts. Because we're going to get this to run the scenes, and then I literally have a blackjack for it to run the scenes again, reading the scene that's already been written and just make it longer and make it better with all the story information. And this is how we get 15,000 to 20,000 words. 4, scene 4. This is scene 4. You know, the 10 is an artificial limit. We could have as many prompts in WordBanger as we want to, but I think that once you start getting bigger than 10 prompts in a sequence, it's a little bit unruly, as you can see here, to make changes to all the prompts. And I do make changes as I learn better. Last night, Steph and I were working, and we realized, like, without these different components labeled, it can make it more challenging to work with it. So all I'm doing is updating the prompt here. Scene 8. Does everybody have access to the Notion page? Because if you go ahead and click on that in the group, you're going to be able to watch this thing right live as it goes, because it will just literally put the auto drafts in. All right, so there's 10 or 9, and then the last one is 10. So boop and boop. Okay, so we have these. I just fixed it so that what it writes, it's going to write scene 9, and it's going to label it scene 9 draft. Okay. I've got to reload my blackjack. So I'm going to come over here, and same thing as before, projects. Let's go ahead and clear that cache, my cache, and load that blackjack back in. When you see the green lettering, you know that it's actually loading. I just want to make sure I'm still streaming and everyone can still hear me. Are we good on the talk? We could do this on a smaller scale and do in beats. Yes, you can do beats, but let me show you how the full scenes go, because you might go like, okay, we're going to be fine. So coming back over here, here we go. So we have our blackjack. We're going to go to our elements, and we'll go to our WordBanger. So we have our N1, our N2, our N3. And I'm going to go ahead and, everybody hold on. I'm going to clear it all. Bloop, it's out. I don't have to worry, because everything is in my blackjacks. So if I come back to my elements and my B slots and click bang them, I can make sure it's got the most updated one because it has the N3. And then here's everything saying scene 1 draft, all 10. So they're right there. Now, here's where you have to think. This is where you don't want to let a tool tell you what model you get to use. If each scene is supposed to be about 1,000 words, 1,500 words, 1,000 times 10 plus all of this information here of the end of what's in the prompts here, which is probably about 3,000, 2,000, 3,000 words. That's going to start limiting you if you're trying to run all of these in a sequence. If you want to run them in a sequence, you're going to have to use a model that has enough context window to do that. There's only a handful. Your Claudes, your GPT 128K. Your 16K can do it, but it's not going to be able to do all 10. You're probably going to be you're probably going to have to run like 5 scenes at a time if you wanted to do 3.5 16K. Now, why might we want to do 3.5 16K in the future versus 128 GPT-4? Because we can fine tune a 16K. That's what's coming. Okay, so we have the preview. The temperature is 0.8. We're good because we wanted to listen. 4096. That's all good. And now, oh, one last thing that I like to do. I like to come over to my auto write right here. This is the cool thing about your auto write page. You can type whatever notes you want in here, and Rexy will automatically put the pages underneath it. So let me go ahead and put in here that I'm going to be doing first sequence of 10 scenes, draft, and it's going to be GPT for 128K so that I know. And I can also always put 0.8 temp for what changes I made to the temperature, just so that I know. All right, so let's go ahead, 10 repeats, start banging at 1. Let's go. Now, it has those prompts right there. Christmas used to sparkle. I remember the way my heart raced as a child, the cold December air stinging my cheeks, my breath forming little clouds of excitement with each gift. But now, standing behind the counter of Hartley's Heirlooms, my antique shop in the heart of Boston, I feel none of that wonder. The holiday season has become a pageant of excess. The magic I once knew is buried beneath layers of tinsel and sale signs. The shop is quiet, save for the occasional chime of the bell above the door, signaling another customer lost to the frenzy of last-minute gifts. I watch as they browse through relics of the past, pieces of history that, like Christmas and to me, have become little more than commodities. Each sale is a reminder of the holiday's transformation from a time of warmth and connection to a commercial behemoth. The snow falls gently outside, a stark contrast to the jumbled thoughts storming within me. It dusts the cobblestones and the faded shop fronts, a blanket of purity in a world that seems increasingly complicated. The decorations that line the shop, a string of lights here, a garland there, feel out of place, as if they're trying to impose cheerfulness on a space that has resigned itself to the mundane. My name, Evelyn Hartley, is synonymous, it seems, with antiques, objects filled with stories and secrets. At 35, I am the dedicated, if somewhat worn down, owner of this treasure trove, the keeper of time's artifacts. My fingers are perpetually stained with dust, my eyes strained from appraising the craftsmanship of centuries. The end-of-year inventory has left me weary, a catalog of numbers where there should be narratives. Okay, I'm just going to pause right there. What the what? It is first person, y'all, and it keeps going. Now, it only wrote me 545 words. Don't worry, that's not a problem yet. Let's let it keep going. So now it's going to do the chime of the nine o'clock. She's kneeling. I want to see her interact with some characters. So it's okay that there's no dialogue yet, because what I'm doing is I'm just getting, call it a skeleton draft. I'm basically getting the basics of the scene that then I can run the sequence again and have the LLMs go, okay, take this 500 words. Now make it 1,200 words by adding in a customer and some characters and put a cat in there or something. I think there should be a cat in the shop. Let me go check the chat and see how this is, what people are thinking. And if you want to see it, look, there's scene 1 and there's scene 2 on the auto write, and it's going to do scene 3. Let me go to the chat and see where everybody is. Dominica, good to see you. At the end, can you let us know the usage cost of everything generated? Yes, I can. I did that last night too. Last night, I think it cost me about $3 because I'm using GPT-4. GPT-4 Turbo, by the way. Oh, let me give you guys a better window. Sorry, I went to the auto. Come back to Rexy. We are at, oh, it's still on 2. Okay, hold on. Wait, maybe not. Hold on. It is on scene. Let's see what scene it's on right now. It's on scene 3, y'all. So it's doing scene 3. Now, there are a couple of different ways that you can tweak this to make it run even better the first time around. If you already have scene 1 written, populate that. Start with Bang 2, and it'll copy the writing style of scene 1 because it'll read it as part of the prompt. I am prompting this to read the previous scenes, but I'm not giving it the whole book. I'm only doing it at 10 scenes at a time. So it's a lot cheaper to do, 10,000 to 12,000 tokens than to do something that is, 40,000 tokens every time you click a button. Big difference, especially if you are able to break the story up into 10,000 words, 10,000 into 10 scenes at a time. If 10 doesn't work for you, by the way, if you're somebody like, my act structure, I usually do 6 scenes for the beginning and then 12 scenes for the middle and then 6 at the end. That's fine. Do whatever slice works best for you. I'm just working in 10s because, well, Wordbanger does 10s. And to make it like a little novella. Let me check the text. At the end, can you let us know the usage? Yep, awesome. A cat is always a good idea. I'm with you, Millie. Although, actually, I don't like cats. Cats don't like me either. Uh-oh. 4 is taking a moment here. This is another benefit of the Wordbanger. If this crashes, I have my 3. I just go, okay, well, you got your 3. Start at 4. Let's try again. Because I notice it's hitting a woo-woo. This should not be taking this long to run this for. Oh, there we go. Okay, OpenAI just has a problem. Up, we're now in Charles Dickens. Coffee house is accurate for Victorian London. He looks up, his eyes meeting mine, and there's a flicker of curiosity in them. Please sit, he says, his voice the same blend of warmth and authority. Thank you, Mr. Dickens. I do not believe we've had the pleasure, Miss Hartley, Evelyn Hartley, Charles Dickens. You're not from around here, are you, Miss Hartley? No, I'm from quite far away. Boston, actually. It's not entirely a lie. I'm interested in history and Christmas. Now, that would be hilarious because I want this to be like history. It wouldn't be a lot of our modern day big Christmas stuff. It was invented during the Victorian times. Like, that's when we got the trees and stuff from it brought over from Germany to from Victoria and Albert. It's easy to lose sight of what's important. I've seen some of that contrast: children begging in the streets, family in want, where the snow continues to fall. Tell me, Miss Hartley, what is Christmas like in your Boston? It's become overwhelming. I want to add in where she needs to get some clothes or something. Like, that would be funny. We'll do that on the edit. It's a different world here, I murmured to Dickens. The spirit of Christmas seems absent. One of light and hope, the other shrouded in boundless night. Your words, they resonate with a truth that transcends time. Okay, cool. Such resilience in the face of adversity. Miss Hartley, I cannot thank you enough for this. The heart of my next tale. I think it was always there, Mr. Dickens. You just needed to see it anew. I like that the language kind of changed. I think on the edit we can tell it to bump up the time travel details, adding in some humor about like she needs to find her change of clothes or something, some like anachronistic things that she struggles with to get back into the times area, and then to also really emphasize the time difference. So now we're in scene 6. What happens? Does she touch the ornament again? I clutch the ornament and prepare for whatever journey it might take me next. Cool, cool, cool. It's Christmas 1944. But also posters urging citizens to buy war bonds and stamps. The strains of I'll Be Home for Christmas mingle with the somber news from the front lines. So there's part of my prompting that says anything that is summarized, let's go ahead and make it like show, don't tell. But this is pretty good skeleton draft. So if you're going from synopsis to prompt to like a very basic draft of the scene, and now once you have a basic draft of the scene, this is a whole different way of writing it. You don't have to have the beats. You can literally take this draft of a scene that's paragraph form and tell the LLM, enhance this, make it longer, make it better. If you want even more control, you could take this rough draft into a tool like Pseudowrite, like Novel Crafter, that allow you to like highlight and like you want to expand it, or you can use it in Notion. Notion also has artificial intelligence built in to do the same thing. I like the Notion one too because it's a flat $10 a month, but it does have limitations. You can't choose which model you're using and things like that. So the community center. Are you here to send something to the boys overseas? Actually, I just stumbled in. I'm Evelyn. James, the soldier says, and I'm Lily. Okay, cool. James and Lily. You must be glad to be together for Christmas. More than you can know. They're everything. He'll be called back. Who's this woman? I sense their need. My husband and I used to celebrate Christmas Eve by exchanging handmade gifts, she continues, her eyes glistening. It's our tradition, but this year we hadn't had much time to prepare. What matters is that we're together, the best gift of all. Okay, so now we're going to get like a gift of the Magi. I guess she's going to help. Well, what if we could still have your celebration? A little bit of creativity goes a long way. I can help you put something together. Really? That would be amazing. Okay, we need some better language there. We need to make it sound like 1944. Then it's settled. Let's give you both a Christmas to remember. As we begin planning. Oh, I have a toothache from how saccharine this is. Makeshift newspaper cuttings painstakingly painted by children flutter as makeshift snowflakes from the ceiling. Strings of popcorn and cranberries stretch over the branches of the small pine tree. Candles collected from around the neighborhood stand sentinel on the mantle. Their flames a testament. Okay. A crackling record spinning on an old phonograph. Voices join in. I would have someone on the piano in the corner. Let's see here. Let me check the chat, see what everyone else is saying. Oh yeah, it's just slow today. Okay, good to know. Hop back in. The woman I once was, who saw Christmas as an echo of what it used to be. We're in scene 8. Okay. Witness to the human spirit. Good job. Well, we're not going to make the 155 just because, well, OpenAI is running a little bit slow today. So we have 2 more scenes to write. While this is populating, let me go ahead and get the prompting set up for the next blackjack, because I can save a little bit of time on that. So what we need to do for the other prompting, let me go grab it from the werewolves and we'll bring it in. So werewolf, ow. So this was the scene cleanup. Again, that story information is going to be the current information that we have. And then please rewrite it word for word. The main prompt is read draft scene 1. See how I have this, why I had it labeled the way I had it. Please rewrite it word for word exactly as is, but identify places to make the writing stronger, longer, and more detailed, better characterization, and less cliched. The final scene must be longer, with more writing and character interaction than the original. Paragraphs where action is summarized is a great place to expand. Avoid foreshadowing, add in more small talk. So this is where you can tailor it, fit it for the genre that you're writing. So let me go ahead and duplicate this. So this is the scene cleanup. Duplicate. And then I'll bring it over to my FFA page. And werewolves cleanup, we'll put it into the YouTube Rexy clause. And we'll put it under here. So I'm going to need to grab, how do I want to do this? I think I do it a little differently. Yeah. Yeah, I got it. Okay. So one thing that this one does, the scene cleanup, do you see how bang 1, it's going to look for N1. So my N1s are going to become those scenes. I kind of did it backwards than usual. So all I need to do for the main one here, because what I'm going to have to do is, and you guys will see this in a second. So this is not going to be werewolf scene cleanup. This is going to be Christmas time travel. And now that, you know what? We're not going to update all these boxes. This is ridiculous. We're gonna make this a prompt. So I'm gonna grab this. Hold tight for me here. And the way we're gonna the way we're going to structure this. This is last night I just copied and pasted. Come on. I'm going to go back to the methodology I actually taught in lab. So I'm going to make these N11s, N13, one, two, three is all the prompting, and then N1 or N11. So N4 is going to be my prompt. Actually, we'll make it, yeah, N4 is the prompt. That's fine. There's a reason to my madness here. Okay, so N4. So I'm going to take this out. N4. I know I'm not explaining it very well, but I'm going to N4. Okay. This is the wrong, I like board view. This is why it's confusing my head. So N12, N13, N4. N4 is going to be my prompt that goes at the bottom. That way, when I change it, it changes it on all of these cards, and I don't have to do what I'm doing right now ever again. So whatever the prompt is going to be, I'll just know that it needs to be the N4 slot. And that'll automatically populate what that prompt is. And I'm putting a 15 because this was something I taught in lab about a couple of weeks ago. This idea that N1 through 10, if you use them for various things that you need in your prompting, if you make the N through 20 correlate to the actual instances, you don't ever have to renumber this, what I'm doing right now. Once it's set as a framework, you can just put the dynamic information as an N slot. Your prompting framework stays the same. And you can use these over and over again for all different genres, like what I'm doing right now. The problem is that I hard coded it, so to speak. I hard prompted it specific to the werewolf book. And so now I have to take all of that out. Oh, I missed the 9 to make it a 19. And you guys are going to see what we're going to do here. And that's N20. Okay. So Christmas time travel scene, and then the big bang box is empty. And that's okay because it's going to be read. We're going to come over to our scene writing one, and we're just going to copy right here. We are writing a Christmas travel story first person. Started the scenes right here. And now I come over to my other. This is the scene cleanup. And so it's going to read N1, N2, N3. Now, obviously, I've got to fix my Notion page. So let me show you how you do that. So my auto write. Does everyone see how I have all of these scenes now right here? And it says scene 10 draft. It's okay that it's reversed. I'm not going to worry about it. It'll still figure it out. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I need these to be Notions 11 through 20. So what I have to do on my Notion page here, if this is N1, N2, N3, I need to go ahead and put in a page here. This is the prompt that's going to go at the bottom of each one of those instas. So let me go ahead. Please rewrite it word for word exactly as is, but identify places to make it stronger. The final scene must be longer with more writing and character interaction than the original. Paragraphs where action is summarized. Avoid foreshadowing. Add in more small talk. Add in more details for the time period. And enhance the feeling of ambiance in those scenes. Okay. I also want to tell it, you may invent bit characters that interact with Evelyn. This prompt is specific to this story, but it's going to be my N4 slot so that it'll automatically, I can just change this and it'll automatically populate on all of those cards. It saves me time copying and pasting and everything. You may invent bit characters that interact with Evelyn. Keep first person point of view. Make the dialogue sound period appropriate when she time travels. Add in humorous, anachronistic gags about time travel when appropriate, such as her needing to find clothing, etc. Okay, so we have that prompt, so we're good there. And now I need placeholder prompts, or I just need placeholder pages. And the reason for that is this is going to be my N5 page. They can be blank. Because of the way Notion pages work, the Notion slots, it's whatever sequence you have them in. That's your Notions 1, that's your Notions 2, that's your Notions 3. Very easy peasy. So let me grab these, copy and paste them, and then I'll change this to my N8, my N9, and my N10. Now I need to bring my other 10 in. So to do that, let me check the chat, make sure everyone's following along with what I'm doing here. Okay, so back to here. I have those 10 scenes written and they're already pre-tagged because I made it do scene 1 draft. By the way, for the original numbers, if we want to look at that, we can see this 563. So I can put it right here. Oh, what I usually do, the faster way I do it is like this. Everything is in my, right here is in my Big Bang box. So what you can do is you can export the entire Big Bang box and save it into Notion. If you go to the Notion rights, that's there, compare, inspect. Okay, nope, that's not what I want. All right, so I'm just going to put my cursor in this box. I'm going to just select all, copy it. It wrote 9,296 words, but that includes the part that was the prompting and everything like that. So I'm going to come over here to my auto write and I'm going to put down here a page. And I'm going to say first draft, all 10 scenes, BBB. So I know it was the Big Bang. It was the final Big Bang box. It's helpful to save this in case I have something that goes wrong or something like that, and I need to go back to it. So basically, this has the entire mega prompt of all of the prompts. You'll see that. And then it has start of the scenes, and then it has the draft. And again, this entire thing is 9,530 words. Decent rough draft. And we are at 147. Now we're going to make them write even longer. So to do that, I come over to my auto write. I've made changes so that I have N1, N2, N3, N4. This N4, the prompt, is going to correlate to my time travel scene cleanup, where all of these things where it says N4, 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 it's going to just put that prompt right in there. Does that make sense to everybody? That you can literally use this to do global variables, as Leland and stuff explained to me. You can have global variables, but then you can choose what's in that box and then it populates it into the framework. So my N11 needs to be scene 1. Well, how do I do that? And the way I do that is by coming to this auto write. This is the easiest thing in the world. Highlight these outputs, drag them into my Notion page. That's it. Now all 10 of those scenes are bloop, preloaded, ready to go into Rexy. How do I bring them into Rexy? Notion slot. Verify. Refresh the page. Now I'm going to suddenly have 20 slots. We had 3. And now it's bringing it in. But bam, look at all that. They're all in there. And they all correlate to the individual scenes. Same thing for my word banger, because I did update that. So I've got to go to my project. I'm going to clear my cache. And it's not the scene writing. I want the cleanup, the scene cleanup one. So once I load that in, y'all ready for this? Do, 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 do. It's like jock jams. Come over to the elements, come over to my word banger. I'm going to clear this all out. Don't worry, I saved it. I'm going to come over to my elements and I'm going to go B slots and I'm going to go bang them. And now you'll see that it's going to do draft scene 1 is in N11. Oh, you know what? N11 says it now. I don't need these. Let me fix this. The reason I'm fixing this is because remember it tagged it already. This is me being, I've changed my methodology a little bit. Read draft scene 3, don't need that. I'll fix it in the Big Bang as well. I'm not going to fix it right now because it's not that end of the world. I'm just cleaning these up a little bit. Feel free to ask your questions in the chat, or if you're following along and you're grabbing these files as I'm finishing them up, It would be nice to see what everyone else is doing. So I do think that this process, I mean, it would be faster if I didn't have to stop and explain what I was doing as I did it. That's for sure. I do think that this entire process, you could get 10 scenes produced and done in an hour. I really do. We have 4 minutes until it was 1 hour since we started running it. And we did end up with about, I don't know, 7,000 or 8,000 words, which is still not shabby for an hour. There we go. There's Insta 10. Okay, so that's all correct now. Coming soon to a word banger near you is the ability to just export these prompts, so that we can. This scroller does not work very well. I can't get all the way to 1. So I'll go to line editor and then I'll come back to word banger and it'll load it again. There we go. I'm on Insta 1. All right, so it's all cleaned up. I've got the story information below. N1, N2, N3. I don't need N4 because that's the prompt, and then the start of the scenes. So it's going to write. So let's go ahead and 10 repeat, start banging at 1. I'm not going to use GPT-4 for this. Let's go ahead and use Claude, shall we? So I'm going to use AWS Bedrock, and I'm going to use Claude 2.0, our good old Claude, and I'm going to click update. Let me check the chat, see how everyone's doing. Good, good, good. Okay. And here we go. Maybe Claude's behaving. If not, we'll revert back to GPT-4, which is okay. We're going to click Let's Bang. And this is Claude 2.0, not 2.1. Although we could try 2.1. So here's his attempt. He's rewritten scene 1. Christmas used to sparkle. I remember the way my heart raced as a child, the cold. So we just needed to beat 536 words because that was what the original one was. Okay, the brass bell. Oh, a young man peruses the antique toys, carefully inspecting. Okay. Small fir tree adorned with glass balls and tinsel sits in the corner, adding a pop of color to the otherwise neutral space. But the decorations feel out of place, as if they're trying to impose cheerfulness on a shop that has resigned itself to the mundane. That's why I've decided to script Christmas this year. What's the point? Oh, that's better than the first one. The days wear on. Wool coats, scarves. These pieces are just darling. I simply must have that pearl necklace for my niece. She'll look smashing in it at the Christmas Eve gala. I wrap the gift without comment, uninterested in her lavish plans, and send her on her way without another hollow smile. Woo! Okay, it added some dialogue. We got 796, so we're getting there. And let's see what it does for rewritten scene 2. Now, part of the problem is that scene 1 didn't really have a lot of meat to hang onto it. You could actually add to the prompting. If you know what your core prompting is, you could go into the Insta and be like, and add a cat and add some of this and add some of that. You do have the full ability to be the creative director. And it does really feel like writing a movie. You know, it's like, take 2. We're going to record these scenes again. We're going to roll film again. Do it again. Tell the actors to get back in their places. Tinged green from oxidation encases the ornament. It's artistry on a minute scale with patterns so detailed only craftsmanship. Strange symbols. Okay, so she's time traveling. The catalyst of what? I'm no longer in my shop. A clock tower tolls the late hour, underscoring my bewilderment. I need answers, but first I need to get my bearings. Times, get your times here, he calls out in a Cockney accent. Okay, so it went into scene 3. It did a line that, wait, why? We're still on option 2 here. Okay, so it's still in 2 and then it's writing 3. So maybe it'll just keep adding to 3. We'll see what it does. Come along now, George. I must look out of place and exposed in my modern outfit. I need to find more appropriate attire and quickly. Where and when have I landed? But the exact year eludes me. 1847. 1847! This is so much better. Begging your pardon, ma'am, a voice pipes up, jolting me from my shock. A young boy with a crooked smile looks up at me. I expected, spare a coin? I have no coins. Sorry. I'm sorry. I don't have any money to spare. Well, bless you anyhow, ma'am, and a fine Christmas to you. Oh my goodness, this is the best. 1,400 words, though that's 2 scenes. Let's see how it handles scene 3. Okay, so it's got an error. It's not the end of the world because this is a sequence. If it skips a scene, we can always go back and add that scene back in. We can get, hey, run scene 3 again and just bang it 3 and stop there. So we're at 4. Charles Dickens, please sit. Okay. I wonder how she found clothes. I'm going to check it. Peaky Blinders Xmas edition. Yeah. Back to 1. So what do you all think of this? I know, are all of your mouths just dropped right now that you can go from 500 words to 1,500 words just running it a second time? And you could even do this. You could set up sequences where you could cut your scenes in half. Once you get to 1,500 words, you could go first part, second part, add more here, add more there, and you could just build it up. It's a whole new methodology, I think. Well, it's not completely new, but I mean, watch this methodology get inserted into other tools that are out there on the market already. They're going to make changes so you can sequence them and then go, okay, add more, just add more. Okay, so we're at the chill of the London air. So 4 was 1085. If I come over here to my auto write, I can go to the pre-writing. I'm sorry, go to the pre-writing Notion 21. If I come to scene 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll see what the original was. The original was 805. So this added 200 words. And here's the wicked cool part, because y'all know, like, you like kit bashing back in the day. I loved kit bashing too. Loving the automation. How many times can we run the rewrite to get more dialogue? Or more, as many times as you want, Dominica, because you just change your prompt to say now it's the rewrite. Like, I'll show you how we'll run it again on the current one to clean it up. Although we need a scene 3. So hold on, let me get back to this. Let's see where Rexy is. Claude's going a heck of a lot faster than GPT-4. I just got to say. I'm just saying. You just needed to see it anew. There's a Salvation Army band. So there's definitely things here that you want to like double check. I think Salvation Army is English too. I'm not sure. I would want to research that and make sure. So we got 1,100 words for that scene. It did kind of combine scene 2 and scene 3. Here is my attempt at writing the scene with more detail. Rewritten scene 6. Boop, boop, boop. Radiocast. Radiocast. Radio broadcast. I'll be home. It's not the biting harshness of London's winter. Here, ribbons, the lampposts, community center. Is it just me, or is this not doing paragraphs? That's like one long paragraph. You forgot paragraphation, dude. What happened here? And this is scene 6. There's definitely some issues here. Like, she's able to just walk into a room and go, I see James and Lily. That doesn't work. She hasn't been introduced to James and Lily. She doesn't know who they are. So just visiting for the holidays. Isn't that right, darling? So 1,000 words. Let's see what the original scene 6 was, shall we? I'm nosy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The original scene 6 was 678. So to go from 678 to over 1,000, that's a 40% increase. That's pretty impressive that it was able to do that. Oh, cool. But that's still a problem if it's 1865 because it said 1847. So that's where we have to fix it. So this is where the limitations of the LLM, it can only be so accurate. So that was 6. It's now doing 7. Aw. The knitting of the socks, chats about sons, brothers, husbands stationed overseas. A little girl with pigtails shows off a letter from her daddy in the Pacific. Her small face etched. Oh, the heartstrings. The nostalgia. I imagine you want to make the most of your time together. You're the only gift I need, Lily. Aw, that's so cute. Okay, so they're not going to do gifts. They're just going to do a celebration. Okay, that's fair enough. I was like, how's she going to make gifts? The radio drones on somberly in the background, but I tune it out, focusing instead on James and Lily's voices. Okay, so now they're having the little celebration. I recruited Betty. Make do, crepe paper garlands now drape across the walls. On the tree, handmade ornaments from children at the center mingle with painted pine cones I gathered from the snowy woods. The tantalizing sense of sugar cookies and roasted. Now, sugar was expensive, so I would probably tweak that to be like molasses cookies. I surveyed the scene with satisfaction. Absolutely perfect. Something to talk about rationing. I'm the one who feels a gift. Being a part of their holiday situations. I wish you both a lifetime of joy. The ornament's magic waiting to whisk me away. Okay, and now we're in 8. Billy Jenkins. Wait, what? Hold on. Bay rum aftershave. I'm confused. At the end of the story, she went to the other, like, she very clearly, so here we have a hallucination, basically. Because I thought she grabbed the ornament to give her, to let her back home. With see what hair. I thought I saw it where it said she grabbed the ornament to take her back home. Am I crazy? I make my way to whisk me away once their love. So I just have to fix this to where it doesn't take her back yet. So you have to change that. Okay. Keep going down. So we need to fix that for sure. Let me check the chat here. Okay, cool. I'm sorry I didn't know the Salvation Army was English. I apologize. I apologize. So the other thing that we can do, since AWS is one of the ways that everyone can do Claude, what I'm going to do, instead of doing this a third time, because I'd have to clean this up and change it so it doesn't say like redraft and all of that. So we got 1,700 words. You'll see it starts writing longer and longer and longer. And that's because it started to write longer. And every time it wrote longer, it demoed basically for itself that it needs to write even longer for the scene. And that's how you're able to get it to creep up. So the way that you can change that is if you just get it to do it automatically. So this one kind of messed up with 8 and 9. And I think, and 10 is messed up too. So it did 1 through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because it skipped scene 3. But that's okay, because if I need this to finish, because sometimes we do it that happens, I can come out of here and I can go back into Word Banger, so it'll refresh. Everything that it wrote is right here. So that's 11,000 scenes, and it missed scene 3 and it missed 9 and 10. So how do you fix that? I'll show you how you fix that. So we're going to come down here because these are the completions all together. If I come down to find scene, so there's rewritten scene 5. Let me go find scene 3 where it wrote it into. So scene 3 is actually in here. It's just really short because it kind of did that in one prompt. So we'll leave it as is. And what I'll do is I'll just ask it. And this is what I love about Rexy. So does everyone see how it stopped at scene 8? And it kind of like threw an error at me. I only need 2 repeats, 9 and 10. So I just do 2 repeats and I say start banging at 9. I don't have to make any other changes. I just click let's bang. It's going to be the exact same as what it was running in the sequence, except now it's going to do 9 and 10. Although now it's going to say it's an error. So hold on a minute. I know what's wrong. Let me update the maximum length. I don't know why this is an error that happens here. I don't get it. Let's try it again. Okay. Bedrock does not want to work with me. I have a suspicion there's like a limit of how many words you can run, like completion wise, in a certain period of time that I might be hitting up against. So let me do this. I know I have Anthropic, but not everybody has access to that. Let's see if Open Router's Claude can do it. So I'm just going to do Open Router Claude 2.0. We still have the maximum length, okay, and click let's bang. Now I'm using my Open Router account. In the past, I haven't found that theirs works that great. Like it'll get truncated or whatever. It might be okay because it has so much meat to hang on. It'll see like we're not doing anything to violate its terms and conditions. So what I did was I changed to Open Router. This does happen. It's not anyone's fault. It's just the limitations of working with LLMs. So there you go. Now it's writing scene 9. Let's see if it gets anywhere close to 1,000 words. So she has to go to the library. They're the same price too, by the way. Open Router and AWS, there's no difference in the cost there. And there was questions about the costs of running all these. So let me get that costing, that pricing for you guys in just a second. Because I think you guys have the method down. And again, that method is to get your outline, have the LLM write the prompts for you to write those first scenes. Once you have those first scenes, even if they're only 500 or 600 words, don't panic. Keep them as is. Populate them into the prompting so that you can just say, hey, read this scene and make it longer and add more plot details. Now, the way I make sure that it has enough information to add those plot details is I give it all of the story information again. Like every single time this is sending the prompt. If I was to go to inspect the request here, you'll see it's passing every time it's passing. This one was to do whichever sequence it was, but it has all of the story information. And if I scroll all the way down here, you'll see it's getting all of the previous scenes. I go back to the bang. The bangs. All right, so we have 9. Did it finish 9? Nope, it's almost there. I reluctantly take my leave. Lily's embrace lingers in her eyes. What would be really cool too for this is I think she's back in her shop, but it's Lily and James's townhouse or something like that. Like it's her apartment or something. So it's showing like what it was before it was turned into a shop. Picturing my shop. Please let this be the journey home. The ornament flickers faintly, then bursts into kaleidoscope light. And I would change this so that the ornament breaks when she's home, right? Or she drops it. Looking at that same eternal star, their hearts entwined. Once my priority now seemed trivial. The antique artifacts, which had become mere commodities, now shine with. I mean, it's so slow. It's funny. there's definitely some tweaking there. Like it's interesting, like it hits those slow periods and then it keeps going. I think that's also showing that they're playing games with the actual like completions on the back end. That these methodologies we're doing of like read this and keep going, and then okay, read what you wrote and add more. I think those are actually happening in real time on the back end at Claude, so that what we think is one prompt or one response, I think it's actually a bunch of responses where it's actually being coded to just read what it's already written and keep going. Read what it's already written and keep going. I think that's the core functionality of all of these LLMs. So we ended up with scene 9. So let me come over to here because it didn't pop it in there and say. So original scene 9 was 665. And if I come to the current auto write of where we are, here is scene 9, 1511. That's a more than double the words. Okay. And it kept it the narrative logic pretty well, so that it's easier for you to work with this, I think, than to be prompting it with individual beats all over again. Let me check the chat here. Yeah, right now Open Router's doing okay. So I think I just caught it at the right time. And that's what I love too about Rexy. It's just a drop, like once you put your keys in, it's a drop down. I'm still in a state of flow of my work. I don't have to go open up a new tab, move to Claude Chat, open up a new tab, go to Open Router, open up a new tab, go to ChatGPT. Everything's in Rexy, and it's just oh, well, that's not working. Well, let me just do the drop down and pick a different model. That's one of my favorite features about Rexy. So the library silence presses in. Please let this bring me home. Okay, so we're repeating that again. Aunt May from the wartime. Oh, that is so cute. You guys, it did it. She's going back to the community center, I think, now in the 2000s or whatever. I spot Clara, a kind elderly woman who reminds me of Aunt May from the wartime Christmas celebration. She hands me a tray of freshly baked cookies, snowflake sugar cookies, a treasured recipe from her youth. I'm touched by her generosity. Reminds me of the ones my dear mother used to make. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So I could tweak it to where she shows them how to make like the cookie, like how to fashion a quick cookie cutter from a coat hanger or something. Okay, so the original scene 10, and there is some overlap here, but the original scene 10 was 1142. Or no, that's the new one. I'm sorry. The original is on here. The original was 671. So now the question becomes, how many words did we actually get on the rewrite? And the way I do that is I come over to Rexy, because everything is in here now. It just appended it. We are now at 13,596 words. And if I was to grab all of this, let me do this. So second run. Oh no, I need to do a page. I'm sorry if you can hear my dogs barking. Page. Second run. I'm going to paste that in. And then I'm going to duplicate it. This is just to go faster on the word count. Second run, no prompts. So I'm going to take out all the prompts so we just have the scene writing part. So all the prompts, all the synopsis. So right here, the start of the scenes. We ended up with 11,665. Coming back over here to the original, this is the first one. I'm going to duplicate that one as well. And do the same thing. First draft, all 10 scenes. No prompt. So we'll take out the prompts. So same thing. So we can compare apples to apples. So delete that. 7,266. So let me 68. So let me put this on the page for you, and then I'll stop the share. I'll go get the money and I'll get the amounts, and I'll tell you guys that one too. So to summarize our experiment, we'll put it here, I guess. We began at 12:55. By, and this is where we can figure, this is why I love the timestamps. If I come over to this Notions 21, the timestamp right here, oh dear, it's in GTC formatting. What's the time now? Okay, so it's 7, which is 19. Sure, I agree. 7, yeah, 7 is 19. So this 18 is 6:30, so it was an hour ago. So 1 o'clock my time, 1 o'clock. So by 1:39, so right here, by 1:39 EST, we had 7,268 words. Okay. And that was with GPT-4. And then by 2:16 p.m., to come over here, 11,665. Okay, that is 2 hours and 15 minutes, I'll say. So that is 120 plus 15, so 135 minutes for 11,665 words, or a rate of 86 words per minute. So that's what we ended up with. And then let me go ahead and stop the share for real fast. Oh, hey, Jorge. I didn't. Jorge, are you still here? Do you want me to add you to the stage? Yeah? Yeah, you guys can hear Dasha. Okay, I'm going to add him to the stage.
I don't have my camera on. So.
That's okay. You can just be a voice. Why don't you chat?
Well, I was going to ask you something, but that was like an hour ago.
Oh, no. Well, you didn't message me that you were in the stage or whatever.
You were in a flow. I didn't want to disturb you.
That's
it's
okay.
Great.
That's okay.
I think it was about, how when chapter 3 broke down,
yep.
and you kept going. I was going to ask you if Rexy, if Notion had it, like a copy of it, but it was already, like you explained, you got to it later. It was in the Big Bang box.
It wrote 2 and 3 in one prompt on prompt 2, and then it skipped prompt 3 because it was like, nope, I don't need to do this. And then it did prompt 4. So I used GPT-4 Turbo today on the 8th of December. There was actually already stuff on here. I should have figured that out from last night. I know there was already $1 last night. So $1.37 is what I've spent today in GPT-4. And let me get you guys the Claude numbers because that's going to be on AWS. Give me a second. I know you guys can't see my screen. That's because, forgive me, I'm not going to share with all my login information on these different platforms. I'll also go grab the open router one. I think it is Writer.
Dasha.
Oh, you guys can hear Dasha? That's actually Kira. I'll get to my office. I haven't had a chance to fully move in.
You've been busy. Yet. You've been sick.
Yes, I was definitely sick. That is for sure. That is not the right password. Hold on a minute here. Let me see. I'm trying to get into my AWS, which is always like a Herculean effort. Sorry, this is boring. Oh, and now there's a verification code. Of course there's a verification code. Well, I guess I've gotten the password right that time. Verify my identity. Yep, I can do that. That's me. Okay, I'm finally into AWS. Go me. And then go to Bedrock. Get started. Oh dear. You know, I've never actually looked to see like what billing and cost management. I bet it's in there. What is the billing for today? What's new? Let's skip the tour. I know you guys can't see it. View the bill. I'm at $1.55 for the entire month. I don't think it breaks it down for the for the so we'll just go with another $1.50. I think. It doesn't, the cost breakdown is not even okay. Yeah, I've spent $1.22 on Claude. Now that might update more, and if so, I'll put it in the description. So all in all, $1.22, $1.37. So that's $2.50. And we also need to have Open Router's cost too. So let me go get Open Routers, because Open Router is actually really good, easy to get that information, because it'll show you each thing that you run. I can share my screen on this one so you guys can see it. So let me add it to the stage. And now when I go, oh, I'm in the wrong, hold on. Don't add it to the stage. Give me 1 second. I got to go to the other window. I was in the wrong one. My bad. Open Router. There we go. Okay, I'm already logged in. Good deal. So now you guys can see my Open Router. And if I go to account and I go to activity, the cool thing about Open Router is it'll show you the exact cost. Now, this is actually a good way to do this, because this was, look at this. I sent 17,000 tokens to get 1,500 tokens back. And so you can see that that's going to cost 18 cents. Does everyone see that? So another 36 cents. But each one is not, the previous prompts were smaller than that. I wasn't sending 15,000 tokens. I was sending, 4,000 tokens and 6,000 tokens. It incrementally gets bigger. So we're at the grand total for today, best cost estimates, $1.22 plus $1.37 plus 36 cents yields $2.95. We had 11,000 words was kind of where we ended up with. So if I was to take $2.95, and I think they're doing this right. No, yeah, divided by 11,655. Wow. 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 Let me go over here to, oh, wow. I just got rid of, hold on here. You guys weren't able to see that, were you? I was in the wrong tab again. Now you can see the activity. Apologies.
Yeah, it's there.
This is the worst. But it's because I'm coming up on 2 hours. When I get to 2 hours on this, I'm like, it's nonstop talking. So, what you can see here in Open Router, when you sign into Open Router .ai, your activity, because remember I had to use Open Router at the end for Claude. You guys can see that those last two prompts were 17 cents and 18 cents, 1.179. These were the biggest prompts that I sent. This is 9 and 10. Understand that this is incremental. So when you send scene 1, you're only sending about 4,000 tokens, and then it gets the response, and then it appends that to scene, because like you can see here where like prompt 9 was 15,000 tokens. It got 2,000 tokens. It added 2,005 to the 157093, and that's how I got 17,000 tokens that got sent. Does that make sense, Jorge?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So 36 cents there. But all in all, over here, we spent $2.95. Now, there are ways to cost save this. Excuse me. I spent $1.37 in GPT-4 Turbo. I could have run it in 16K and it would have cost me 13 cents. If all you need to do is get these scenes to be 400 or 600 words, I'll show you that. I'll show you that real fast. How GPT 16K can make these even cheaper. Would that be cool, Jorge, or no?
And 3.5 once you get some fine tuning, right?
Yeah, the challenge with 3.5 though is that it only has 4,000 tokens of context. Like it
There
could
is
only be
that too.
4096 total.
Yes.
No, yeah, it's 4096 total. So now I'm going to divide the $2.95 divided by 11,665 words to show you, or let me get it from the calculator. We paid 0.00235. Is it 2 zeros or 3 zeros? Oh, it's 3 zeros. My bad. 3 zeros.
Jesus.
Per word for that draft. And now if I was to extrapolate that, if that's what we're going to pay per word, if you wanted to do this for 50,000 words, again, in sequences of 10, 0.0023, a sequence of 10 scenes times 50,000 words. Hold on.
I'm not seeing that. It should be coming
I'm
up.
doing it in a calculator.
Oh, I see. Got it.
So this is where it gets a little bit pricey using these models. Using these models, 50,000 second draft words. $117.50. So let me go ahead and stop the share on this, and now we can chitty chat a little bit. So the big point here is that we used the really advanced models, the expensive models, just to get like the best stuff that we could. There is a whole other way to save money on this. You can cut your cost in half just by not using GPT-4 Turbo and using 16K. Actually, not even in half. Well, okay. If $2.95 is 11,000 words, half of that cost was running GPT-4. So if I was to cut that down to GPT 3.5, 16K, so it's only a tenth of that cost, that's what I mean by it would cut the cost in half. Instead of it being $2.95, I would be able to subtract $1.37. So it would have been, let's see here, $1.22 plus 0.36 for Claude. And then adding on to that, it would have been 0.137 because it's a tenth of the cost. It would have only cost me $1.71. So it wouldn't quite, it would be a little bit less than half. So $1.71. I'll do this all in a spreadsheet for a lab because I think these are important things to note. So now if I take 11,655 words, I'm sorry, that's the wrong way to do that math. Do $1.71 divided by 11,655 second draft words.
We're not seeing
now
that.
Our cost would be 0.30147. And now when I multiply that times 50,000, we would be spending hold on. So I think I did my math wrong.
I think so too.
We need a spreadsheet. Hold on. We're going to do this. It's okay. I'm going to add it back to the stage. We'll just add a spreadsheet. Give me a second here. So I know everyone else at home is being like, what the what? Elizabeth, get it together. Google Sheets. I don't care. We'll just go to Google Sheets and we'll just go to a new one. Okay, so you can see the Google Sheet, right? Jorge, are you able to see the Google Sheet?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
Sorry, forget it. Talking to me.
Second draft words. How many did we end up with? We ended up with 11,655. So everyone's following there. Our costs. Okay. GPT-4 Turbo. And this was to run the first sequence. Cost me $1.37. Claude, second sequence, equals, it was $1.22 plus 36 cents. Why is there an error? Oh, because I had $1 there. There we go. And we'll make this currency. So we know it's money. So to get my total cost, it's this number plus this number. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And if anyone else wants to pop in, by the way, the link is in the Discord for anyone to be able to join in like Jorge is doing. And I really appreciate you doing this real fast.
Come on in. The water's fine.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. So yeah, that's a big, big difference. So let's fix that because I think you guys are completely right. So I'm going to fix this thing right here. So this is not, we don't want this. So what does this cost to do? That was the question. So if we have 50,000 words, so now we need the cost per, so cost per, and if you see math is money for authors, per means we're going to divide, cost per second draft word. I'm not going to say they're finished words, but they're second draft. So the cost for that, the formula for that is equals to this total number divided by the number of words we got for that money. That's how we're going to get it into the format of what's the cost per word. And I get a 0. Why do I get a 0? Well, because we're dealing with fractions of pennies. So when you format this, actually not those, I need to format these numbers right here. So when we format this, it's going to be a custom formatting. So when I go to number, I go to custom. I usually do this one right here. So now I can see my significant figures. So
Yep.
0.00025.
Yep.
I know the dollar sign is after. It's fine. So now what I want to know is what would a 30,000 word second draft novella cost me? Well, that's 30,000 words times, actually, let's just do the numbers. Let's use our cells. So 30,000 words times this number, $7.59. 50,000 words of of second draft stuff, 50,000 times this number right here. Now, opportunities to save. Okay. There's an opportunity right here with this GPT-5 Turbo, and I'm going to highlight it in yellow. So because we know that GPT-5 Turbo is 0.01 per 1,000 tokens and 0.03 for 1,000 tokens. Oh, 1,000. And this is prompting, and this is completion. And this is Turbo 4. GPT 3.5, 16K. So you may have to slide and not do as many scenes at a time, but you could still eventually get them all done. Let's see what the pricing for that is. Pricing, GPT 3.5, 16K, because it'll just pop right up. See how it is. You can go to the pricing here. So here's the Turbo where it shows me, 1 and then 3. And, oh, this is really cool. Oh, that's a vision pricing calculator. Okay. GPT-4, which we're not using. Here is Turbo right here. And I need the 16K model, which I think is the same price as regular Turbo now. I think that they made that happen. So GPT 3.5 Turbo is the flagship model. Oh, they just changed 3.5 Turbo to being able to do 16K now. That's cool. So there is no 4K anymore. That's good to know. Does everyone see how this is a tenth? It's a 1 and a 2. It's a tenth of the cost of GPT-4 Turbo.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yep.
It's a little bit less than a tenth of the cost here because I know it's 0.002 instead of 0.003. But let's not quibble over that small of a penny. So since this is 1/10 of this cost right here, and I know that this is how much it cost me for Turbo, if I was to do this exact same experiment with 16K, it's equal to this number times 0.1 for 10%. So it would have only cost me 0.137. The Claude would have been the same amount unless I did Claude 1, which is the same price as GPT 3.5. Pretty close. So now if I do it this way, this is where this makes a difference. So this would be the cheaper version, the $1.71 I was talking about. We can go equals 11,000. Or no, I'm sorry. I'm doing it backwards again. 171 divided by the 11,655. So now I have this 3 zeros and a 1 instead of a 2. And now when I multiply these, 30,000 times this number, I get $4. And this number times that number, I get $7. So there is an opportunity to save money, almost half, by going with, using 16K to run that first sequence instead of Turbo, GPT-4 Turbo. So if you use 3.5 Turbo versus 4, The question becomes, is the material good enough? And that's the last thing that we'll do today. So the cool thing for Rexy, if I want to do this kind of experiment, you guys can see Rexy, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to clear everything out, clear all. I don't have to worry about my Notion slots because it's still 1, 2, 3. Remember how we have those different blackjacks? I can literally load that scene writing one now and load that blackjack because that's what we were doing. And I will come over to my elements so you guys can see this. So now my big bang slots are doing that same thing about here it is. Now N3 is our prompts, and now it's going to write scene 1. So we're back to that first sequence.
Yeah.
Only this time I'm going to go AI, and let's go with OpenAI, and let's see what Turbo 16K can do. Actually, yeah, 2096 is I think the max it can come out with. Okay, so let me go ahead and click bang them. And let's just do 3, okay? So we're just going to do 3 repeats, and we're going to start at 1. The reason for this is I want to compare and contrast the auto writes of what did we get from Turbo and what do we get from 16K.
Okay.
Because it's going to have the prompts and all of that, and it's going to write the scenes. So let's go ahead and do Turbo 16K.
Let's bang it.
If we get 500 to 600 words, so there it is. It's writing in first person.
It's the skeleton.
Customers bustled in and out. It's not too much different when Christmas was different. I would skip Christmas. So 349 words. So it's definitely on the short side. Let's see what it does when it gets to scene 3. Because scene 2, 1 and 2 were pretty on the short side, and then scene 3 was where she actually time traveled. So it's cool that we're getting first person. And let me check the chat, make sure everyone is, if anyone is here. Thank you so much, Rochelle, Ashling, and Migs for finding my math error. I appreciate. I was like, $117 seems really wrong. Oh my goodness. Let's go back to this. 558. So that's the same length that the other one was writing. And here is scene 3. Charles Dickens. Struggling with your, and who might you be? And who might you be? I've hit a wall with my writing. The stories I tell seem to lack the magic and depth they once had. I have lost touch. These are the forgotten souls of London, I said. Huddled in doorways, shivering. Their struggles, their hopes, their dreams. You're right. How wonderful. Oh, 765. Okay. And we could tweak the prompting too to be like, yo, write more, write more, write more, write more. And actually, 16K is so cheap. You could do one whole sequence of 16K and then run it again as a sequence, as long as you're within the final amount. So here we have 3,887 words. It might have been able to do all 10. I don't know. If I come over to my Notion page here, let's take a look, see. So these are the GPT 16K first drafts. And our numbers are 356. I feel like bingo. I'm going to write them down. 356. The second scene was 563. And I know the third scene was like 700. 775. And word count isn't everything. A quality of words matters too.
Yep.
But if I come over to my pre-writing, these are the original scenes that it wrote. We had 563 for scene 1. Scene 2 was, this was GPT-4, 599. So scene 2, they were within 30 words of each other. And that final scene 3, GPT-4 Turbo wrote 834. 16K was within 60 words of GPT-4. So it becomes a question of, is it worth 90% cost savings to run it in 16K versus GPT-4? Make sure you like what's going on before you run it into these more expensive models. And I think it probably is. So, well, thank you, Jorge. Any final thoughts or ideas? Or we're at 2 hours. My goodness.
Well, the question is, can 16K handle all 10 of the instas? So,
Well, I guess we'll find out here.
Yeah. Oh,
that was pretty fast. I mean, you asked the question. Because
like for the future, I meant.
Oh yeah. Well, for Rexy, I mean, we've already did 3, right? So we need to go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we need 7 more and start at 4.
Oh my God, it's that easy, right?
If it breaks. I mean, it runs pretty darn quick. So there's 4. We have the coffee houses again. By the way, I will put a link to a Zoom for the after party for everyone in the Discord for the Future Fiction Academy, because I think we need an after party. I've got Christmas wine downstairs. I will open a bottle. It's actually got like spices and things.
Oh, nice.
It's nice to be back doing lives again. It's been over a month.
Yeah. The other thought was that it's a lot better than $175, which is what our original.
Oh.
When that number came up, I thought that doesn't seem right.
Oh, I knew better. It doesn't seem right. I was like, that seems wrong. That's the problem with this stuff. You get your math off by a 0, and it makes a big difference. $117 versus $11.70. Big difference. But it is just a magnitude of 10. It's literally just a missing 0.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1944. She's touching the ornament. I think there's a breakdown in the prompts. Oh, we have the little did I know. Take a drink. Raise a glass. 700 words. So it's pretty consistently 700 words. Now, I do know that 16K can write as many as 1,500 words. It does have the ability to do that. So I wouldn't have a problem running the sequence again into GPT, the same sequence, the original sequence. I'm sorry, the second sequence. Because if you just change out your Notion pages, you can just run. Shoot, we can actually do that real fast. Why? That's the beauty of this system. It just fixes itself. So 653. Because if we could get these to 1,500 words with 16K, good golly, Miss Molly. So to do that, while this is running, let me prep that. So I come over to Notion, and this is good for people to see this prep. I don't have to change my Big Bang because it's going to be N11 through N20. I basically just have to grab these and move them. Oh, if I move them. Yeah, it's okay because it's 1839. Let me get it to finish first. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is it on 7? It is on 7. Once that one's done, then we'll get 8, 9, 10. So 7 is done. Now it's doing 8. Come over to Rexy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I like watching them pop up. These are less than a minute. Look at that, Jorge. They're less than a minute apart.
Wow.
So time savings is a matter, is a difference here too.
Okay, so let me ask you, if you had, say, like 36 chapters to your novel, how would you break up? Would it be like 10 and then 10 and then 6?
Well, that's 26.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I'm glad I'm not the only one who can't do math.
Damn math!
So you could do 4 groups of 9. You could do, you just fix your blackjack.
Yeah.
Your 21 prompts for the word banger. You can just you if you don't fill in the boxes and you tell it like stop at prompt 9, you could just do that 4 times with your 9s if you wanted to do 36. So whatever makes sense for your story structure or your workflow.
But when you started, you had it write the prompts instead of writing beats.
Yeah.
So So you do that first as the first pass?
In this way, but you're if you don't want it to do prompts, so these scene prompts that it wrote, if you want to do this methodology with beats, you could just have
I loved it. I loved what you did. I loved that it
yeah,
wrote the prompts and it did it.
and you could and we didn't change these. You
No,
definitely would want to change these and add to them, or if
tweak
basically
it.
this is like your assistant director said, "Hey boss, this is what I propose for this scene." You're the director. You have to be like,
Yeah, I like that.
actually her motivation, when she's closing up the shop, have her interact with the town folk here. So you can like interject these little bits of like change this, tweak that, add this, move that, go here. It really just I feels magical to me as a writing process to get a draft that then I really feel like a publisher with a slush pile. I don't feel tired from this exercise at all.
Right. But the original prompt, the one that started it all, is you asked it to create a 10 scene
Outline.
outline. Yes. So
Then
so you would make that a 36 scene outline.
yes.
Okay. Because then
And
after that, yeah, go
and
ahead.
then you would still maybe go like, here's the entire thing, but only write the prompts for the first 10 scenes. Then
Right.
fill those in and then go, okay, here's the prompts for the first 10 scenes, only write the prompts for the next 10 scenes.
Right.
You have to think about how detailed these prompts are. So like these were the prompts for 10. This was 1,300 words. The LLMs write 1,000 to 2,000 words really effortlessly. When you try
Hmm.
to get it to write more than that, it
Yeah.
makes it more difficult and you have to kind of like slice and dice it.
Right. Right. Right.
So you may even have to have it write your prompts in sections too of like, here's a summary of what happens in scenes 1 through 10. Write me a prompt for scenes 11 through 20 or whatever.
Got it. Got it.
All right, so we have our notions here. These are all done. This is the 16K. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. By the way, this took less than 10 minutes from the first one to the last one.
Hmm.
All I have to do is grab these and bring them into the Notion 21 and then grab the ones that I'm not using, and I can tell which ones those are by the timestamps. See, by grabbing all the 18s,
Yep. I see it.
I just drag those and throw them back into my auto write. Come on. Can I hover over it? I thought I can. You know what? There's an easier way to do this. You can right click and click move to and just auto write. And now they're gone out of here and they should be on the auto write over here. And they are.
And there
See,
they
there's
are.
all my 18s.
Yeah.
But I still need to organize these. This is where the Notion classes come in handy. We all love Stacy. If I grab these, I want to drag them back up here and get them to, this is the first sequence of GPT-4. So I moved them back where they go for where the label is.
Yep.
And now I have my 16Ks. So now all I need to do is clear all. And it's a question of changing the blackjack. So now I need the Christmas time travel, load that blackjack.
Oh my God.
I don't see the green. You really need to clear the cache and then load the blackjack for this is for the scene cleanup now.
Yeah.
You know what? We know now the tokens for that last one is 17,000 tokens. I don't think it can do all 10 scenes. I think it's only going to be able to do 8. Because of Open Router. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I looked at Open Router, see how 9 and 10 are 15,000 and 17,000 words. So if we're going to use 16K, I think we need to work. We'll try all 10 because it might write shorter. We'll see what happens. We'll see where it hits the.
And the worst that can happen is it'll stop working.
Yeah,
Right?
it'll just say, "Hey, I can't do this anymore."
Yeah. Do you need to change the maximum length?
Nope, because I just need to change my bangums, and I want to make sure that it's read it and then the draft, and then it's got the prompt of like, "Hey, yo, write this better."
Yeah.
So I click bangum to bring them all in, to bring all my elements in, and we'll do 10 repeats. Start banging at 4. No, start banging at 1, and we're going to use 16K. And the other thing that you can do too to make it easier for your Notion slots. Or for the auto writes is you can always change what the auto writes writing. So I could always put right here GPT 3.5 16K second draft. And that'll be at the beginning of all of my Notion, my auto writes to Notion.
3.5.
Oh, thank you. That is a hand. It doesn't press enter to apply. There we go. So let's bang. Start banging at -1. Start banging at 1. Negative. We're not going to do negative prompting. That's crazy.
We're going backwards in time.
Yeah, we're going backwards in time. So here's scene 1 draft. Oh, you know what? I never fixed the originally I'd fixed that or whatever.
You fixed it here. You didn't fix it on the other.
Fix it in the bang in the bangs. Okay. So we're looking for it to beat 356. If it beats 356, we are in business. At least for a first go. Christmas used to sparkle. 609. That just doubled the word count.
Whoa.
All right. Number 2 was originally 563. Let's see. Draft scene 1. Why is it doing draft scene 1? It should be doing draft scene 2. Interesting.
Is it looping?
I think it's looping. Let's see what it can do. Oh, now it's got draft scene 2. Okay. It's a little cray. it's a little off its rocker.
Yeah, sure.
I think the problem is I didn't fix.
Let's
not hamstring the poor little crappy model. Okay. let's take this out so it's not confused.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas. Let's hold on. Let's clear all.
Tiny Tim GPT.
Tiny Tim GPT. The elements. We'll click bang them. So I'm just bringing it back in, and now I'll clean up my boxes because it's not. I mean, it's not fair. We're kind of using the gimpy model, and we have bad prompting in there. Like we fixed the prompting for the luxury models. It's only fair that we fix it for the gimpy models.
In the previous one, you used to put a dingus in between those. I don't know if you're. I just reminded you.
It's got containers, so I think it'll be okay.
Sure.
You know what? We will be scientists. We will be equal. We will be the same. We won't change it.
And if we do it this way, then you can do a third pass where you use Claude to do another rewrite.
Yeah. And basically we did our first 2 rewrites for pennies on the dollar. I can't believe we're doing a 3-hour or 2.5 hour. This is the tricky part because trying to get to these later instas on my screen sometimes can be tricky with my Zoom. Oh, that's all I got to do is fix my Zoom. So give me a second. I'm going to zoom out. There we go. And I'll zoom back in for everyone just a second. I use a television. I use a 40-inch television for 48-inch television for my monitor. That's why the resolution's always like, why is her screen a little blurry? Because it's a TV, y'all. It's big. And now I'll zoom back in. Boop, boop, boop. 150. Okay, so we can see that. All righty. Let's bang. 16K. Here we go. Now they're all cleaned up. There we go. Scene 1 revised. Now it's not confused. Christmas used to sparkle. So again, the number we're looking to beat is 356. Let's see what it does. I'm actually impressed too that it's kept first person this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a character list. That's another way that you could enhance this too, is if we added a character list so it knows who the heck these people are.
Yeah.
I didn't do any of that. This is literally like, look, Ma, no hands. What minimal information can we give the LLM to start giving it to us, giving us some decent draft to play with? Oh, I like that it repeated itself. Christmas used to sparkle. That's a really cool echo.
Yeah.
576. So it did beat 356. This second one, 563 is what we need to beat. Oh, you know what? It's still repeating. Oh, you know what that tells me? My Notion slots are screwed up. Maybe? Scene 1 draft. Did I not update my Notion slots? I don't think I ever did. Hold on. Time out. Stop the presses. I don't think I updated my Notion slots. I don't remember doing that. So if I go to my elements, my end slots, I bet that's the problem. Scene 1 synopsis.
Yeah.
That's why it's broke. It doesn't even have, y'all. Hold on. 11, scene 2. Word counter plus. Yeah, it's being fed the scenes from GPT-4. That's cheating. No wonder. Okay, so hold on a minute here. I need to refresh my Notion slots. So I fixed my Notion page. I just need to refresh my page. I forgot to do this step. So basically what's happening is it's using the older ones. That shouldn't still be a problem, but I think that's why it's confused. So 1937, and I can just double check that these are in my elements and in my Notion slots. Come down here, scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, scene 4, scene 5, scene 6. Okay. I don't know why. Oh, I'm not going to clean up the bangs. Oh, no, that's a problem. All right. You know what? We're going to stop here because I think we've proven the proof of concept that it can work. I'd have to fix my instas all over. This is why if you're going to fix your prompts, it's better to just fix them in the word banger. I guess I should go ahead and do that since you guys are going to use it as a template anyway. So let's go ahead and do that. So the time travel scenes, this is the one that's broken. The board view, this is the one that I need to fix.
What about the after party?
Oh, we're going to do the after party. We'll just do this in the after party. So let me go ahead. I'll fix this prompting for you guys. Let me get this to an end because poor YouTube is like, girl, you've been on for 2 hours and 27 minutes. So let me bid adieu to everybody kind of following that. And we will move to a Zoom room. Everybody cool?
Amazing.
So
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Bye.
And I will wrap up real fast that, again, this is the Future Fiction Academy. We push the limits of what's possible with prompting and what the LLMs can do and everything like that. So you've just watched kind of like a whole new innovation that we're working on where we're making the LLM write the prompts and we're just experimenting with this. We are not saying that this is the best way to do something. We're saying this is a way to do something because we're all in this together and having to research. What I've been trying to tell people is that no one's coming to save us as creatives as the AI revolution is happening. We're it. And if we don't learn the theory, if we don't learn the memorizing our context windows, understanding, like when Claude broke about a week and a half ago, I just ran over to Anthropic and said, hey, I don't know if this is meant to, but used to be our favorite model. 90 messages on that Discord message to where finally last week or earlier this week, they announced that they opened up the ability for us to revert back to 2.0 for creatives in particular. We have an immense amount of power right now at this time to shape and influence how the artificial intelligence is developed, how it's trained, and how it's made available to people. And so it's very important, in my opinion, for all of us to get involved. That means finding out about these APIs, getting accounts at all these different things, being able to understand and work with the LLM, not with some program that already has prompting between you and the model, but using systems like Rexy or using the playgrounds. Each one of these models offers a playground, for example, a playground that you can actually write the prompting and you can see the difference and see how these models change. All right. I'm Elizabeth Ann West. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys next Friday, and I will try to have some more lives next week. Bye.